This is Dead by Daylight. We're here on Nintendo Switch 2. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So this is a game I thought might be fun to dive back into and take a look at on the Nintendo Switch 2. Just to kind of see what exactly we're getting in terms of like improvements. Like this was always kind of the... I guess you would say the worst way to play this game by far. Like, it took forever to load, the performance was choppy, and yeah, it's just like wasn't a very good way to play this game, and it still isn't necessarily a great way to play this game, but on the Switch 2 we do actually get some big benefits. I would say the biggest by far is the fact that the game loads basically like instantly now. Like, I mean, there is still like a second where you gotta see the bar go across the screen, but like it does actually load really quickly, which is something to appreciate. Like, yeah, because that was a big thing, is like the Switch, you can almost always tell when you're playing Dead by Daylight on other platforms that like the Switch users, the ones that are like, or people with like really old PCs are the ones that are taking forever to load in. Oh, I accidentally let go of the button, my bad. So yeah, that was kind of a huge thing, and then the fact that we now have a stable level of performance. Now, I am anticipating that at some point down the road there will be a proper Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade for Dead by Daylight. It's just a matter of when. These multiplayer games always get good support, and the Dead by Daylight team behavior there has been very good at doing updates and improving their games across different platforms. I would be shocked if Dead by Daylight didn't eventually get a proper Nintendo Switch 2 upgrade as well. As I said, it's just a matter of like when they go about doing that would kind of be the question, because yeah, I don't know how long I want to... Well, I mean, I'm not going to play more of this after this. I mean, I'm just kind of taking it in and showing it off here so you get an idea of things, but like... Yeah, it's pretty rough to play. Like, I mean, you can visually look at this, you can tell that it's, like, toned down environmentally, and the resolution is, like, not the greatest. Yeah, it's just, like, a not so great way to play this game, which is a bit of a shame. But, I mean, the fact that it was even running on the first Switch, kind of a bit of a miracle. Oh, come on. You know, getting it... You know, having it run a little bit better on Switch 2, I think is fantastic, and it's just the extra power overhead giving us that extra level of smoothness that I think so many people will appreciate, especially if you play this on the Switch. Like, I mean, you are a trooper if you've been playing this on the Nintendo Switch. Like, honestly, it is impressive that you can stomach and tolerate the level of, like, performance and stuff on this one. Like, it's yeah, it's not the best setup. Oh, he's got the gun. Yeah, totally forgot about that. So anyways, let's talk about this a bit. So the game initially was like a dynamic kind of like 1080 thing, and it was just kind of really cut back. It definitely looks like they've sort of dropped the resolution. Like there's like no like, you know, anti-aliasing or anything. Like, it's super low res. It is now actually a smooth 30 FPS though, and that to me is like the biggest improvement outside well, actually the load times 100% are the biggest improvement. The fact that you just play and it just loads is just like a phenomenal change. But yeah, no, it is quite nice to actually have a frame rate that is like leveled, because it just ran so genuinely choppy and bad on the Switch 1. It was just like, it was the most unstable. I think it was like 20-ish FPS or something like that. It was not a good way to enjoy and like interact with this game. So it is nice to see... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So it is nice to see that they've actually done some work on, you know, the game over time. At least they keep it updated. At least they keep the content parity going on. Like, they could have just dropped this version of the game entirely. Well, I mean, if you're you know, I guess people are paying for it. You got to support it to some degree, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing the long term of it. Like, I wonder if there is going to be a certain point where Switch 1 just kind of gets, like, cut off. I don't know, maybe it's financially, like, lots of people play it. I have no idea. But yeah, this would not be my ideal way to play Dead by Daylight. But as I said, I find it quite fascinating to go and take a look at how the games run on different platforms and stuff and see the cutbacks they have to make. It's just like you lose a lot of the atmosphere and the vibe. Like, they're trying their best, obviously, to give you the full scope of everything, but you could really tell that, like, obviously they've, you know, had to change quite a bit about this in order to, like, get it here. You almost have, like, a bit of an advantage on the Switch. What was that? As odd as that sounds, like, because you have less, like, stuff everywhere. There's a lot less flora or whatever in the environment. Like, it's, you know, there's less density. So I guess it would be easier to see things. It almost, yeah, I guess it would be an advantage because you actually could see the killer coming more easily. There's less, like, visual debris that's kind of covering your way, and that in itself could actually be a bit of an advantage. But I am hoping that in the not too distant future I'm coming back here with a, you know, a Switch 2 update video and being like, oh, they've, like, you know, fixed things up and stuff, and, you know, they've done a proper update, because I think for sure we can get a high resolution, and I think we get 60 FPS. I definitely think that this is achievable for Switch 2. It's just kind of a matter of when they eventually, you know, go about doing that sort of an update, and I will keep my eyes open for sure on that. So I guess in general, if you're not familiar with Dead by Daylight, it is kind of like the ultimate combination of horror IP. So, you know, there's obviously, like, Fortnite gets, like, such a combination of content and IP in it, but they never really praise this game, because, like, it's actually amazing what behavior isn't, like, actually been able to achieve with this game. Just in terms of, where's the other generators? Just should be more than that. There'd be, like, extra generators? This is super weird, this setup. So, yeah, no, they really have a great combination here. You get everything from, you know, movies to games to original chapters and content to the game. Like, for instance, recently they just did Five Nights at Freddy's was in here with, like, a map and character skins, but they've also got things like Saw, or they've got things such as, like, strangely Lara Croft, like, as Tomb Raider's in here, and Nicolas Cage as the character is in here, which is fascinating. And then, like, killers, you know, Halloween and Ghostface, and there's a lot to this game. And then, you know, a lot of these characters come out and they have, like, maps that are dedicated to them. That's what the main chapters are. So a chapter will come out and there'll be, like, another new map to the game. They've been working on redoing all the maps too, and redoing a lot of the mechanics of the game. And it's been really, really interesting to see this game sort of evolve and grow over time. I genuinely find it quite fascinating. Like, obviously we got, you know, from Silent Hill right to our left there, and then you can, like, buy all these characters and expand your experience in the maps. You know, they're just kind of added to rotation for people to enjoy, which I think is great. So you're just sort of getting a never-ending, always evolving experience. Like, this game is constantly changing. They are endless. Wow, they are endlessly adding new things for us to enjoy and keep coming back to. It really is one of those great experiences from, like, a gameplay perspective. Like, they really have compiled something that, like, just continues to evolve, and I don't think it really shows any sign of stopping. Like, it's really neat seeing the dimensions of, like, wow, this is so blurry. But seeing the dimensions of all, like, the different characters and the different, like, situations they find themselves all kind of coming alive in this, it's really, really neat, because there really isn't a whole lot like this out there, if that makes sense. Like, it's a simplistic concept. You're going around, you're attempting to... Oh, is the door not even opened? Ah, that sucks. You know, you're attempting to work on the generators, and then escape. If you're the killer, because it's a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game, you know, if you're the killer, obviously you're trying to kill all of the survivors so that they can escape. And it's just kind of this back and forth battle, as to say, of the two. And then there's lots of complexities to this game. You know, like for instance, you know, different perks, and then you work through like a blood map that they've been improving a lot. The blood map will give you certain things. And why didn't these guys get the door open over here? Maybe they weren't even close to doing that, I guess. But like, yeah, they got blood map, and then you can get items, and items will be like, oh, I've got, you know, a toolbox that helps me break things faster, or, you know, for instance, a map that lets me see stuff. And it's just these like in-depth setups. Abandon. Shouldn't I just be dying anyways? Yeah, it's just kind of this never-ending like conflict, if that makes sense. This back and forth, and you can play at any point whatever you want, right? You could be like, oh, I'm gonna be the killer, I'm gonna search for a match of that, or I'm gonna be the survivor, search for a match of that. And you never know who you're gonna end up against. That's kind of the beauty of it. So then you can also throw these things into a fire pit, sort of sorts, lightly, and that might determine like where you might end up, or you might get more blood points depending on your performance, and it all just sort of feeds into the system of complexity behind the game. But the core design of it is so simple, right? You're just going around, holding down something on generators, trying to fix generators, and then you leave. If you can escape. And I think they did a wonderful job of that. It's just nice to see this actually running smoothly. So we'll have to jump into another match, I guess, here. Alright, we finally got into a match, now playing as the killer, so you can see that perspective. Yeah, these maps are just like so toned down. It really is. It's kind of like a bit of a cheat. Huh. For Switch players. I mean, you have to deal with a huge downgrade in fidelity and like frame rate, but you know, outside of that, it does at least allow you to see a little bit better, because like the survivors aren't as well hidden in the environment because the resolution's so low. You know, it's like all the drawbacks of all the environmental stuff. Always funny. That's my favorite thing for Switch stuff. I always love seeing, you know, the sacrifices the companies have to make to get things running on the Nintendo Switch, and that was always my favorite stuff about doing Switch videos. Was just seeing how bad things can get. Wow, they really were working on these generators. You know, the funny thing is these people, they probably don't even know that I'm on the Switch. They don't even know that I'm switching it up. Think they take it easier on me if they do? Why are you moving like this? Are you real? I have bloodlust. I miss having all of my proper skins. I knew they were going for that one. I didn't really see it, but anyways, yeah, no, I miss all my skins, and it's like it's kind of hard, or skins, maybe characters, I would say, skins and characters, because it's just like I usually have like access to so many more different types of like killers and survivors. So definitely something to get used to. They are moving so quickly. It is kind of sucks. Got like the esports team here. Dead by Daylight. Nah, they're not that good. It's just like this does kind of a bit hard to do. Wait, did this person just like walk in here? Okay, I thought so. I was just like, that was so weird. Why would you do that? No, Adawong. along. Let's get you up on a hook. No, we're having fun with it. It's a really enjoyable game. It is. Like, I love playing it and seeing it in different places. And it's like everything's recognizable characters-wise, so... Definitely could be a lot worse, I would say. Well, I don't know if it could be worse. This is the worst way to play this game, but... At least you can have fun with the, the horror of it, seeing all the characters and stuff, and... Yeah, I don't know, I think you'll have a decent time playing this game. It was just like... Yeah, I'm mostly just sitting here hoping for a Switch 2 upgrade, and... As I said, they're a very good company for that kind of stuff. They really do, usually deliver quite well at giving updates, and... I was actually kind of waiting a little bit because I was wondering if they were going to pop out an improvement for this one, but I was just like, yeah, I got this downloaded. It takes up a lot of space, so I'm kind of, I'm just sitting there being like, ugh. I gotta get through this on here and move on to the next thing. You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, these guys are just bulldozing through me here. Ain't gonna be long now. Wonder where she is. I think this character is somewhere here, right? Am I crazy? Maybe I am. Maybe she, like, slipped by me? Because I saw the red markings come down here. Huh. Yeah, I'm getting absolutely destroyed out here. This is embarrassing. They're gonna be out of here in no time. Ugh. It's like they're just fiddling around with me. Absolute domination. Absolute domination. I'm literally shocked at how effective these guys have been. Did I just teleport through the floor into this? Wow, that did not work in my favor at all. Wow, that kind of sucks. Wow, alright. Yeah, I'm gonna be the one that's dead by daylight. That was a little disappointing, gotta be honest with you. What a letdown. I have to do another match now? Oh, that sucks. So yeah, things didn't really go according to plan there, and now I'm punished by having to dive into another match, but that's okay. It is what it is. Anyway, Dead by Daylight on the Nintendo Switch 2, a better experience than what we had before. At the same time, not a great way to play this game, but a better way? It's like, yeah, this desperately needs a tone up, a touch up, and I think you would be then okay to play on this one. And I mean, like, if we just get a slightly higher resolution, get that 60 FPS going, I think this will be a pretty fun experience and really cool that you get to play a game like this, say potentially out on the go if you've got like a signal and stuff. And I think it just works really well for that sort of experience and for the Switch. And it's definitely a game that I think the Switch 2 is more than capable of handling in a better way. And yeah, I just kind of look forward to seeing that sort of upgraded version down the road when we get to that point, which will be really cool.